Hello, good fellows. My name is Carmelo Yellow, and I'm a beached whale of the game of Hearthstoned. I play all modes: Mercenaries, Battlegrounds, Classic, Wild, Standard, Arena, Duels. I love it all. I just want to talk about the weird and silly random forgotten cards here. So we're gonna go through each class, starting with Druid. Number 10, we have Bewitched Guardian, a 5-cost 4/1 taunt minion with Battlecry, gain +1 health for each in your hand. Am witched, being witched, been witched. This is a great grammar lesson and a very forgettable card. Great art. We got a cool goat helmet thing, bull. Tauren? Oh god, is that a Tauren? That's messed up. Yeah, this was from the Witchwood when we were seeing a lot of this hand druid package getting pushed out, along with, the even and odd cost stuff. Even and odd ended up dominating. There is that 3-cost draw 1, gain armor for how many cards you have in your hand that's still seeing play today, but other than that, that's the only main part of that archetype that really survived. This one here costs 1 more mana than the Twilight Guardian. I believe that's what it's called. Twilight Drake. There is a Guardian, I'm mixing them up, but Twilight Drake. The difference is this just came out in Classic. It was great stats for the cost, and Dragon, so it had multiple other synergies. This one you pay 1 mana more for the Taunt. This card, unfortunately, just didn't see that much play even back then, so it kind of always was just a little hair underpowered. Being it was a class card, I don't think it's pushing it too far to make this a 4-cost. It probably would have seen some play, at least at that point. Understandably forgotten about. At number 9, we have Druid of the Fang, a 5-cost 4/4 Battlecry minion. If you have a beast, transform this minion into a 7/7. The Druids of the Fang live in the Wailing Caverns. Hey, that's a mini set. They wear cool snake shirts and tell snake jokes and say bro a lot. This came out during Goblins vs. Gnomes. They were starting with the Beast archetype, I guess, going back then. I don't think there was anything in Classic, or even in Naxxramas for Beast. This was the humble beginnings. Problem with this card is that it itself is not a beast. It becomes a cool, like, Cobra-looking one. The art is amazing. Nowadays, even with cards like Forest Guardian, where this would fit well with the cost being 5-cost, being that it is not Beast itself, and has to have the Battlecry to become one, there's no way to really cheat this out. Poor old Chadwick isn't really going to make it anywhere, even with his good old Wailing Cavern fraternity. He was forgettable then, he's unfortunately forgettable now. At number 8, we have Forbidden Ancient, a 1-cost 1/1 Battlecry, spend all your mana, gain +1/+1 for each mana spent. This ancient was banned from the local tavern after tucking a Dr. Boom up its sleeve. Dr. Balanced. It was kind of the other theme outside the old gods themselves during that expansion, that we had these curve cards that weren't the greatest effect for the cost, but this one was still cool. Spend all your mana, gain +1/+1. Druids either wanting big or something small in the form of token. This could fit either bill and make sure that you're not wasting any mana each turn. It saw a little bit of play back then. It doesn't see any play now. I haven't tested to see if it has Treant synergy. Treant is just such a weird tribe, unlike the others that are properly labeled. There are Treant synergies where they have effects with each other, but they're not labeled. So maybe in a future where such an encounter exists, and I could see that future, maybe this card gets remembered more. It's a real shame because the art is really cool. That's the least forgettable part about this. You'd probably get a couple hovers if you put this one into play and constructed nowadays. At number 7, we have a 7-cost Beast, Malorn. That is a 9/7 with Death Rattle. Shuffle this minion into your deck. When Malorn is in mauling hordes of demons, he enjoys attending parties, though he prefers to go stag. That is a joke. Yeah, this was really supposed to put the beast synergy together, give your deck the inability to really go into fatigue, although the cost for it made it really hard. There's no way to make more like there is with other Druid cards of its ilk. It didn't really, unfortunately, see play back then. You know, the only deck I could see this in is if you wanted to make a meme where you copied it and summoned multiple Malorns. That'd be kind of cool. I could see that being something. Malorn is great art. Really great art. If you are a proud gold owner, whew, that's awesome of you. Keep hanging on to it. You might be one of the very few of the proud. There's a lot of beast synergy coming forward in the Alterac Valley expansion in a few weeks here, and even then, I don't expect to see Malorn getting the love then in Wild. He's not even good stats for the cost, is he? Dang. At number 6, we have Celestial Dreamer, a great gold card, 3 cost, 3/3, standard Night Elf minion with Battlecry. If you control a minion with 5 or more, gain +2/+2. If you think her job is easy, you try falling asleep on cue. I love the Jade Dragon fading in and out along with the dress. The dress has the color in the spiral. The dragon is faded and loses it when the dragon is out. There's probably some intentional correlation there with the eye glow and all that. It's a story seen in animation, you know, mild flash animation, and yeah, it's an oddball Mean Streets of Gadget Sand card that I guess could fit well with the Ungoro quest, but not really, because it itself doesn't count as a 5 cost because you're summoning it as a 3/3 until the Battlecry. That would be the main deck where the 5 cost or 5 or more attack would really matter. If you played it as just a 3/3/3, you're gonna feel bad. You're gonna feel real bad. It's understandably forgotten about, and I don't expect it to unfortunately ever see play. Next up, at number 5, we have this Ninecast kiosk, 7/8 Volcanic Lumberer, a treant as well. It should hopefully be. I haven't tested it out. Taunt costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. From Blackrock Mountain, the roots is on fire. Great flavor text. Reminds me of an Ent from Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. When they're busting open the dam, there's just one burning on fire, and it dips its head into the water, and we all feel relief as it puts it out. Although this guy looks like he's enjoying being on fire, and yeah, he really looks like he's enjoying it. It's really cool art. The effect costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. You know, I suppose that would go well in a treant deck or a token deck, kind of the same thing. The artist's name is Trent, and I'm sure that was a big freaking lame joke at the office about how Trent was doing the art for a Trent. I didn't really see play back then. Really, I don't expect to ever see play now. Tokens just like to spread wide, buff what they can on that cheap spread, and then go face. And this doesn't really fit that bill. It's way too expensive for that sort of build type, and if you draw this in your first early turns, it might lose you the game. Probably, unfortunately, why this really great art is forgotten about, and that's why it fits well here. You would think something so cool and so early on would have a niche at some point or another, but sadly, as far as I know, never did. Let me know if you remember a Volcanic Lumberer era. At number 4, we have Webweave, a 5 cost summon 2 1/2 poisonous spiders. The only Shadow Druid spell. That's cool and unique. Great art too. We have a Death Knight Tauren with really messed up teeth and fanning out these crazy dreamlike webs with these tiny big bottomed spiders spreading across it. It's amazing art. Cool effect, really unique outside of the expansion. Oh, what a tangled web we weave, hoping spiders dodge the cleave. The reason that this wasn't really seen playing back then, it was not really good value. Because we did have the Death Knight. The Death Knight would summon, had the option to, so there's the flexibility to summon 2 of those spiders for 7 costs, where you get the 5 armor and the permanent hero power going forward the rest of the game that could make or break you. Also, you had Druid of the Swarm back then, which would summon at least 1 of these spiders with the flexibility of the option for the 1/5 taunt. That was only 2 costs, where this is a 5 cost spell. Spells can be countered spelled, especially nowadays they can be yogged as well. Webweave just even has such a cool art, such a unique fit of being the only Shadow Druid spell, is still forgotten in 2021, and even probably forgotten back when Frozen Throne came out, and yet here we are. It'll probably, it deserves its spot at number 4 because it has so many unique features, and still, it's gone or already previously dusted out of most players' collections. At number 3, we have Wildwalker, a 4-cost 4/4 minion. Battlecry, give a friendly beast +3 health, and that is a Grand Tournament card. Cool flavored expansion, kind of like Rastakhan though, with a low power level. Anything from that expansion might unfortunately be considered forgettable. I think it was a cool expansion. I like it. I don't know, I like the theme at least. She was born to be something, she is just not quite sure what yet. And seeing that's a she, it just threw me off, because my whole time seeing this card, I always thought that was a goatee, the little blue jewel right below the neck. I thought it was a really cool gelled goatee. I was very wrong. I love the ears, big enough to fly away on, and the bird claw. You know, I could see this fitting in Battlegrounds. It's already a similar card that gives +2/+2 to a beast. +3 health might not fit the bill, that's kind of overkill. It'd be cool though for maybe a Myexna, or maybe the Hydra. Not too many things that want the health. Mama Bear? I guess it can't fit there with the +2/+2 existing. You know, this was still going back as a common theme, as you may have noticed, that Beast just didn't have synergy, and they're still pushing for it in Alterac, and you know, maybe one of these days, they're so close. We got the Guardian spell. This is not Beast, though, so if it was Beast, this card would be playable, would be seen. I think that had been enough, at least back in its time, it would have had a use, because then you would have had upside even when you didn't have the up. I mean, a Beast already on board. At number 2, we have Pilfered Power. Gain a 3-cost spell that has gain an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion. The Hosen don't get paid much, but at least they get to keep any excess mana. From Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Hosen don't see much representation in this game in general. We have Grookfu Master. Everyone remembers Grookfu Master. This card we actually thought at the time was going to be very powerful, if not overpowered, because you're gaining mana crystals. Just for the minions don't even have to die, they just have to be there. This doesn't do anything except add mana that you don't really need. And there's other ways to do it, and better and more consistently than this one. You have to at least gain 2 for it to be worth it with Wild Growth. In Overgrowth, if you do hit 2 or 3, then it is above value. That's why it's rated so high, is that this card has potential, has unique, interesting art, and a part of WoW history we don't get to see too much. The Hose of Hosentown in Mists of Pandaria are something kind of cool in neutral force, but you know, I'm gonna keep this one on my radar. There might be a day it still might fit some sort of bill. It still has hope. You know, fingers crossed for all you 1 of you, 2 of you Hosen fans out there. And real quickly, some honorable mentions before we do number 1. We got Forest Guide, a 4-cost 1/6 minion from Witchwood. At the end of your turn, both players draw a card. This fit into 2 archetypes. We had the Hand Druid of the time for building up a big hand, but because it affects the other player too, it is cool in mill. I remember looking forward to this card, but it never really happened, and even with all these strange, unique effects, didn't really make the cut, and got forgotten about. Also, speaking of cards that were not fitting of the prime or the time, but they could maybe fit, you know, in a mixed set meta. I mean, not mixed set meta, mixed set mode. We have this 5-cost 4/4 Battlecry, transform your Treants into 5/5 Ancients. There wasn't really enough Treants back in Rastakhan's Rumble for this to really work. By the time that we started seeing some of the transport come around, the best Treant period I can recall is after the Dark Moon Fair, right before set rotation, early 2021. This card would have fit perfect if it was in Standard. This would be played heavily and it would be dirty. Because of that, and because of the potential of a mixed set mode, I'm going to hold this card only in honorable mentions. I always wanted this card to work. It's too slow and wild, unfortunately. Last and certainly least, we have Duskfall Aviana. She's a 5-cost 3/7 legendary minion from Witchwood. On each player's turn, the first card played costs 0. Someone called her Tweety. She didn't take it well. I have no idea what that means. I guess because she's a bird girl. This card could have worked if they just changed the wording a little bit. In fact, it would maybe even be overpowered. On each player's turn, the second card played cost 0. That would make it so you could combo this card. You could combo it into the other Aviana that makes minions cost 1, and then into Coon, and then reset your mana, and who knows what you do after that. That would be a dirty, dirty combo if you had all those cards in your hand. As it stands now, it's kind of like a minion version of Millhouse Mana Storm. You're really putting yourself at a big risk, because if your opposing player has a large minion in hand, they're going to get that for free, plus whatever else they want to play on curve anyway, and then you're only after that will you get to play something. And if they have something with Rush or Charge or a spell to get rid of this minion, only they're going to get the benefit, and you just gave them a free minion. Not ever going to see play. Wonder if this looks like this on the Chinese servers, though, because after we nerfed the Jaina portrait for Mage, surprised to see what's going on right here. You know, for those furries, if they're into feathers, are they called feathers? For those feather people out there, this card's your jam. And I'm sure most people have dusted it. I'm going to hang on to it for the memes. And that does it for the Druid Most Forgotten cards. I'm going to do a bunch of these, one for each class, and the neutral cards where there's going to be the most at there. If you liked it, you can click that button. I love it. I'm going to be making these anyway. I'm doing them for myself just as a little fun little project. Going forward, subscribe if you want to see the other ones of these. I'm going to be doing a bunch of other weirder stuff in the future about just the odds and ends and forgotten aspects of Hearthstone. I thought this was a good stepping stone to do so. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching.